So here I want to demonstrate to you camera modes, and I'm going to use my Canon T3i to demonstrate this. So our camera modes allow us to shoot in different situations. We're setting these modes creates some default settings for the camera that assist in the capturing of a scene depending on what you are shooting. And we adjust those by turning our dial here. And these show us all of our different camera modes. So I'm going to just kind of flip through them and show you in my viewfinder, or not my viewfinder, but my screen on the back should show you what each one does. So I'll just rotate through some of these really briefly. So portrait mode is the icon that looks like a face. And what portrait mode does is it creates a medium depth of field. It is ideal for shooting portraits and people where you have a single person in the image and you want the background to be a little bit blurred. Landscape mode is a mode for shooting, nature scenes where you have mountains and forests in the background and lots of sky. It creates a wide depth of field in which everything in the image is in focus. From the foreground grass to the background mountains and the clouds in the sky, all of those things will be in focus. Close-up, or what's otherwise known as macro mode, is the icon of the flower, and that's for taking photos really close where the subject matter is 2 feet to 18 inches away from the lens. That creates a low depth of field, putting the focus on your subject, blurring everything else in the background. So if you want to experiment with taking pictures of flowers really close, then that's the setting you would use. Hello. Sports mode is a mode that you would use. Sports or kids mode creates a fast shutter speed so that you can freeze time. So if you're taking pictures of your kids running around or athletes moving across a field, then shooting in sports mode kind of freezes time so that they don't look so blurry. And then a night portrait or night mode is for taking shots at night or in low light situations. If you're going to be shooting in the dark, then that is a mode that you would use. So those are the standard ones that I would like you to know this week. If you're shooting with a DSLR, you'll see that there are some other lettered modes here, and I just want to point them out to you real quick. So most cameras have an A or an auto mode, which is where the camera sets all of the exposure settings for you, and all you do is push the shutter button. Don't really recommend shooting in that mode. But if you're just getting started, it's nice and makes it easy for you. Program mode is great. That allows you to adjust. The camera does some automatic setting, but it allows you to adjust the shutter and aperture at the same time, so you can get a little more control over the settings of your camera. Shutter priority on my camera is TV. And that allows you to adjust the shutter speed of your camera, and then the camera will adjust the other settings accordingly in order to give you a good exposure. Aperture priority or AV mode allows you to adjust the size of the aperture or the f-stop, which is this F number right here on my camera. So I could adjust that one, and then the camera will adjust the other settings. And then finally you have M for manual, in which you set all of the exposure settings of your camera, and the camera does nothing for you. So it is entirely up to you to use those settings, but be warned that if you don't set them correctly and you don't know what you're doing, your pictures might not turn out so good. So I think that if you're just beginning, then shooting in program mode or any of these other picture modes is a great way to get started. And as you get more comfortable with your camera, go ahead and try the aperture and the shutter priority modes just to give you more control over your pictures. So as you go through this course, definitely get to know what your camera can do and get to know all of its different modes and figure out which ones you like best. So that is camera modes.